The 2018 NFL Draft is just 3 weeks away, and players who have sacrificed themselves, worked hard, and enjoyed a successful college career will soon see their dreams come true by playing in the NFL. We're here to talk it up with one of those players today as we go one-on-one with Tyler Lancaster, ranked in the top 25 of our lads defensive tackles for the 2018 NFL Draft on the OFN Meeting Room with Greg DePalma. All right, it's Wednesday, April 4th, 2018. I'm Greg DePalma, and thanks for tuning into the OFN Meeting Room as we talk NFL Draft with Tyler Lancaster. Tyler, thanks for speaking with us today.
Thank you very much, Greg. Thanks for having me.
All right, well, thank you. Tyler, your coach, Pat Fitzgerald, said you were a lunch pail, blue-collar, Chicago kind of player, tough with great fundamentals. Can you think of any better praise from any other person than that?
Man, not at all. Everything he's done for me has been fantastic. So to hear that from him is just, it feels real good.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite college coaches. I mean, he doesn't coach at like Michigan or Ohio State, but all he does is win and overachieve and all that other stuff. And you love the fact that it's his alma mater, and it's a great story to have him coach there. It must have been a great experience playing under him.
Absolutely, and you could tell that it's home for him.
Yep.
Like me, I'm a local guy. It's home for me, but you know that he really cares for this program and he cares for the guys that's in him. So, he's our coach, but he's like a dad to us as well.
All right, now you were a big part of Northwestern's top 10 rushing defense last season, and your job as an interior defensive tackle is to take on double teams, keep the guys behind you free to make plays. So, in other words, you do the dirty work.
Absolutely.
So, what is the most gratifying part of a job like that?
When you can get the tackles, the TFLs, those are fantastic. But when I hold that line of scrimmage with the double team and let the linebackers flow over top, it's really gratifying that our freshman linebacker, Patty Fisher, had a fantastic year this past season. And the other linebackers that were with him, Brett Walsh, Warren Mogg, and Nate Hall, that they were able to have some success because I was there doing the dirty work. And they did it themselves as well. But you won't see a lot of stats out of me when I'm taking those double teams and clogging up those gaps. So it's just really gratifying to see that those guys succeed. And then when I get a piece of the action, that feels great too. When
I saw your bio, your photo bio, you look like the kid next door who would drive your grandmother to the grocery store. I got to tell you right now, that's what it looks like to me. But that's and that's not the look and demeanor of an NFL offensive lineman. So you got to be looking forward to your first NFL camp when you got to go up against some of those nasty SOBs that are going to be lined up against you. Maybe they're 6-7 years older than you. That's going to be kind of fun, isn't it? You think that I'm sure you probably have been, I would say that have you been looked at for your physical appearance at times as, oh, this guy's a pushover. I'll be able to take this guy on. And of course, your strength at Pro Day really showed when you had 36 bench press reps, which would have placed you in the top 5 at the combine. So,
right.
What kind of experience have you had going up against players, in the past, regarding, your appearance, and then have you been able to show them, I guess, who's boss?
Right. It's funny you mentioned the way I looked in my pick.
Uh-huh.
The guys around the program, they usually say you never see Lanny, which is my nickname, without a smile on his face.
Big Lanny.
Yeah, and you hear that from Coach Fitz as well. He's like, I don't know a guy who has a bigger smile to go in and take double teams than Lanny does.
Uh-huh.
So that might throw some people off, but
okay.
I think right away, with my strength and my physicality, I show them that like I'm a force to be reckoned with, and the smile is just a cover. I'm genuinely happy at most times, and I'll put on a smile and show you, but once I get on the field, that completely changes and I become a different person.
Now, what do you think you have to do to improve your game?
I mean, with everybody, they can improve their game. I could think of a bunch of ways. I think right now for me, the first step is pass rush. It's hard to get a lot of opportunities on the inside, especially when you're lined up in the A gaps and you get the center slide a lot of the reps. But being able to improve my pass rush, maybe being able to line up as a 3 technique at times, getting off, because we're a run first defense, and so a lot of times I'm used to run first and then transitioning to pass while also having 2 guys pass blocking me. So that's been difficult, but being able to improve those parts of my game, because I feel like with the run, like I'm confident with that, and with the pass I'm going to have to improve, and that's good. But I also have to improve because I don't know where I'll end up next year, whether that's defensive line or offensive line. So I just have to improve my entire fundamentals across the board on either side of the ball, as well as the knowledge of that.
Yeah, of course. People, I'm not sure they know, but you were ranked top 10 center coming out of high school. So that's why you mentioned you don't know which side of the ball you'll play at, but that's also going to be an advantage for you to be versatile. Maybe that is a reason that somebody drafts you as well or brings you into camp. And what do you want to play if you had your druthers? I mean, you prefer the defensive side of the ball. I know certain people do. I can understand why.
Right. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it for me, especially. I've had fun these past 5 years at defensive line. The guys in my room have been fantastic, and my coach has been great, and it's fantastic, you know, being able to get those stats and have your name announced on the speaker.
Yeah.
Offensive line is a little bit of different work, you know. You don't get the glory. Your good day is when the running back has a good day. But in high school, I was very confident at offensive center, and I felt like I could be a fantastic offensive lineman again. So if I'm thinking in the long run, there's a lot of potential for O-line right there, because I'm not entirely sure what that could be, but I know if I work at it, there's potential. But as of right now, it's been 5 years that I've played defensive line, so I'm more comfortable there.
Yep.
But if a team wants to move me, I'm going to say the same thing I said coming to college. Like, just get me on the field and I'll play whatever position you want.
You know,
so that's the mentality I'm going into this with.
You know, speaking of running backs, the player that I'll be putting together like a sleeper draft report in the next couple of weeks, and I don't think anybody that's listened to any of the shows would probably think, I mean, would be shocked at whom the one player is going to be at the top of my list, and that's going to be Justin Jackson.
Right.
I know that he's projected to be, you know, 3rd, 4th round running back, that kind of thing. But I've just, ever since his freshman season, I've kind of been wowed about what I've seen from him. And of course, he's just gotten better, and tough kid. He's looked good since the season's ended in his workouts, and I think he's going to be really good at the next level. What was it playing, alongside him, opposite side of the ball, but watching him play for 4 years?
Man, it was incredible. It was just something special to see, especially coming in as a freshman, being the starting running back, having a 4,000-yard seasons in a row. It's been inspiring, and also being the captain next to him this past season has been incredible. I love Justin. He's been grinding with us from the very beginning. So even after the season, when we had our pro day lifts and runs together, we trained together at TC Boost. He's been fantastic, and there were a lot of people who said, like, I don't know about his top end speed and everything, but like at the combine, he ran a 4.5 flat, and I think that changed a lot of people's minds. That was the one thing that they thought might be his weakness, but I thought, man, like, he's going to surprise some people.
Yeah.
Like, he can make you miss in a phone booth. And, and you can see that he's got some burners too. So I'm very high on Justin.
Yep.
And whatever team that gets him is going to be lucky to have him.
Now, you mentioned being a captain. What does it mean to wear that number 1 jersey? You know, that's something I haven't seen before. So, I don't know if it's unique to Northwestern. Maybe it is. But you've got the number 1. You had the number 1 jersey. Explain what that means to have the number 1 jersey, or since last season.
Yeah, it's an incredible honor for me. I know with Northwestern, Coach Fitz liked to install this. It was he didn't want, like, number one's usually that guy who's all about me, you know. It's the me guy who thinks he's number one.
Yeah.
But Coach Fitz wanted to change that, and he said, we're going to have the team vote on who number one is, and that's going to be the guy who has the Wildcat values, who is the Wildcat, you know.
Okay.
And so when they voted for me, you know, I almost started crying. It was
Wow.
It was incredible to see that they thought of me like that. And it's just, you know, it's a guy who's going to get in the weight room and be that guy who gives you juice, who tries to lead the team, who never gives in. And I can't wait to see who gets it next. But I know I was honored when I heard I got it. And it was also a plus being the biggest number one in the nation for a season. So that was cool too.
Awesome. All right, talk about we just had mutual agreed outlook on Justin Jackson's career in college and what he could do in the pros. Tell me about, outside of Northwestern football, player that you watched from the sidelines, opposition over the years, that has impressed you the most, that may not necessarily be a first round draft pick, somebody that may be coming out of the draft this year or next year. And maybe the fans out there should know about somebody, and again, maybe an under the radar type of guy like Jackson, but on a different team. Give me a player, somebody that you've watched over the years that you could throw into the mix.
Yeah, I know you probably have heard his name, but I know he's been a workhorse too. Brian Allen with Michigan State.
Oh yeah, sure. We interviewed him just a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's I think he's a real hard worker. You know, his older brother went to the league a few years ago, and he probably told you himself, like, he's one of those guys. He's not the biggest guy in the world, but he's gonna work his tail off, you know, and it showed on the field, and I really appreciated that. And I think he's a class underneath me, so this would be my 5th year. This is his 4th year, and I saw him go in and play as a freshman. I hadn't been playing yet, and he's just been impressive, and I like the way he works and his nastiness on the field.
All right, good one. Give me a game film you were most proud of, you'd like the scouts to see. Give me just one game film.
There's a few, but I'd say Minnesota from this past season.
Okay.
Not only was it a fantastic game for the entire team in poor weather, I love that. But I had a great game as well. I was very solid at the point of attack, a lot of knockback, and some good numbers in there too.
Okay, what do you mean by poor weather? Was it raining, snowing?
Oh, it was raining, snowing, sleeting. It was bad.
And you liked it.
It was windy. It was freezing. It was rough, but we had no sleeves on, and it was fantastic.
Awesome, I love it.
Yeah.
All right, biggest win of your career, team win.
There's two.
Okay.
One, probably my favorite game ever was the Stanford game from 2015. It was our home opener.
Yep. Remember
everybody
that one?
had Stanford winning that game.
That's right. Yep.
And we came out and won 16-6, I believe. That was a fantastic game.
And that knocked them out of the playoffs. Because they didn't lose. They only lost one other game, I think, the rest of the year, or they might have been in a playoff team.
Right, and then in the bowl game they got Iowa pretty bad. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's one of them.
But I'd say this past season was probably my favorite game, just for many reasons. But the Kentucky game at the
bowl game,
City Bowl.
Okay.
It was our eighth straight win. It was a bowl win and a 10-win season, and it sent off the seniors right. So, I mean, that game probably from an emotional standpoint was my favorite of all.
Yeah, and you had to pick up your coach there at the end for that really gutsy call for him to go for it. I remember that.
Oh yeah.
And then you guys didn't pick up the first down, and you had to hold them. So that must have been pretty cool to hold them there at the end and seal the win. So all right, I like it.
And they went for 2 because they knew in overtime we were 3-0 in overtime that season. So they went for 2 and we stuffed it. So
that's right.
It was fantastic.
All right, good games. Favorite NFL team? Would it be the Bears?
I've been, I would say it would default to the Bears.
Okay.
Only because I'm a local kid,
Sure.
Obviously I'm, as if everyone else is, open to any team. I've never been a diehard fan, so I don't want to claim it too hard, but because I'm from Chicago and I have to choose a team, I'd say it'd be the Bears. Yeah.
All right, Tyler. So, what are your plans for draft day? How are you going to? You're going to be hanging around watching TV. You're going to. How have you normally enjoyed draft day compared to how you think you're going, or what your plan is this time around? Any different?
Very little difference, if none at all. I'm going to be, at home or maybe at a close relative or friend's house. Only a few people there, just my family and my closest friends, maybe a couple of the guys from the team, but very laid back, low pressure situation. I know it can be a stressful day for a lot of guys, but I'm just going to be hanging around, watching TV, having fun, have my phone on and be ready,
Yeah, and probably going to be at least a 2 or 3 day affair for you personally. So that could make things. That's why you're saying. I mean, it really makes a lot of sense just to kind of be as laid back as you possibly can and enjoy the moment and
Right.
and get that phone call. And I'm sure that'll be a big moment for you. So we look forward to talking to you on the flip side of the draft and following your career, no doubt about it. Tyler, thanks a lot for joining us today, and we'll talk to you again sometime down the road.
Thank you so much, Greg. I really appreciate it.
You got it, Tyler. Take care. All right, that is Tyler Lancaster from Northwestern, Pat Fitzgerald's crew. And if you listen to our shows over the years, I'm a big Pat Fitzgerald fan. And as I said with Tyler about Justin Jackson, I've talked him up a lot with Dan Shonka. Matter of fact, Dan Shonka and I, we're going to do a draft show tomorrow. We're going to have our mock draft show next week. So if you're listening live, and again, this is the Wednesday, April 4th, day before the Masters, if you're into that sort of thing. But anyway, Justin Jackson, and we're going to talk a lot about him as we get closer to the draft and about all the other players, of course, that we've talked about already, and that we're going to continue to talk about. We'll take a look at those players. Dan is finished with the draft guide, so he's got the scouting reports on Jackson, on Lancaster, on every Northwestern player, on every key player that's going to be selected in the NFL draft. So you can order the draft guide, go to the R-Lads website, log on to the R-Lads, log on to the website, hit the subscribe menu on the top left-hand side of the homepage. You fill out the form and order the guide, and you'll get it. That matter of fact, it's going to be available on April 6th. So that's when you can officially get the guide, come out, mailed to you within a couple of days, and that'll give you a few weeks before the draft to enjoy all of those great scouting reports from Dan Shonk at R-Lads. So that'll wrap it up. I want to thank Tyler Lancaster for joining us here. Follow us on Twitter at PrimeSN, and you can get our media alerts. That'll let you know when all these shows are on demand, of course, including this one. And thanks for listening to this edition of the OFN Meeting Room with Greg DePalma on the R-Lads Football Radio Network, where it's never too early to think about the NFL Draft.